Now, when you were in Muscle Shoals at their studio, that's when you used to stand outside the door waiting to get a chance to go in just to have an opportunity to play. And then you play on a song that becomes a hit.
Yeah, it was a happy accident, I think, but you're absolutely right. Muscle Shoals Sound Studio was very famous. They had what everyone knows as the Swampers, great musicians. Jimmy Johnson on guitar, Roger Hawkins on drums, David Hood, who's still with us, thankfully, on bass, and some other musicians. Dwayne Allman played in the Swampers from time to time. Pete Carr was another great guitar player that came in and out. But it was a very small studio. You know, there's not a lot of room to hang out inside. I had a connection there, a guy named Marlon Green, who was a musician but also an engineer. And Marlon said, well, if you just come up, Chuck, and kind of hang out outside the door in the parking lot, you know, and then when the band takes a break and the door's open, I'll invite you in and maybe you'll have an opportunity. So that's the way it worked, you know. And I would sneak in there and try to meet people and maybe sneak over in the piano and just play a lick or two, you know, and see if anybody noticed. And then I started doing these demos, not so much at Muscle Shoals Sound. There was a number of studios, by the way. You know, there was Fame Studios, Muscle Shoals Sound. There was one called Quinvy. There was one called Wishbone. There was a number of studios there. So I started doing these demos at some of the other studios. We were paid $25 a day per man. And, you know, these songwriters would have these songs and we'd do a quick chart and we'd go and we'd maybe do 5, 6 songs a day for those $25. And, you know, it was actually pretty good money for the dime, I guess. But anyway, I got called in to do a session with this guy, Freddie North. And the song was Don't Take Her, She's All I've Got. And it became a hit. Later on, Johnny Paycheck had a hit as a country version of it. But we had the first hit, and Freddie was a great singer, and the record came out, and man, oh man, I just remember tuning into the radio. Wow, that's the record I'm on, you know.
But you didn't get a byline on it.
No, my name was not on the record. You know, we're talking back in the 45s,
yes.
You know. But I knew I was in there, and I could hear my part, you know, on the radio. So that set me on fire to want to do more and more of it, and.
The way you got into the business is so different now, the way kids get in.
Totally different world, Monica. You know, everything is, people can have a studio in their bedroom, in their basement. You know, everything's on computers and iPads. But back then it was, you know, it was tape and you had to go to a studio to make a record. And all of that has changed. It's changed drastically. The royalty rates, the streaming, the downloading has all had an effect on the revenue stream for people. And, you know, I get sometimes young people saying, well, what advice can you give me? I don't have a clue, man. I give them whatever piece of advice I can that I think will be helpful. But it is such a different day. It's completely 180 degrees from the way it was back in the 60s and early 70s when I was coming up.